Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Sugar Tits. Dad tries to stop his ex-girlfriend from adopting away his unborn child. Sad. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow. It's chow time.
Oh, hi everyone. Welcome back to another video. So the story we're going to look at today really got me in the feels. It's pretty freaking sad, but I really wanted to share this one with you today. It's just a reminder of how, although feminism claims that men have all the rights and more privileges over women, it's easy to forget that women do have certain privileges over men, especially when it comes to children. And in this day and age of my body, my choice, with so many people focusing on women's rights and that they should be allowed to be the ones who have full control of their bodies, it may go completely under the radar and not even be considered the opportunities that men have taken away from them, and that it takes two to make a baby, to bring life into the world. And while it may be her body and her choice, often that means men's choices are taken away completely. And this is a story that shines a light on that. Let's take a look. Don't promise her to anyone. Dad's heartache as ex-girlfriend makes adoption plans for baby girl. Oh man, this is so sad. Aussie dad's mercy dash to save baby girl from Texas adoption plans.
Dan has always wanted to be a dad, and that dream was finally coming true. Then his girlfriend left him and gave a heartbreaking ultimatum. He's about to make a mercy dash to the US to get his baby before it's too late.
Dan Gort desperately wants to be a father. I was ready when I was 21, he said. I knew that it was just in my future and I was just waiting for everything to align.
I was ready when I was 21. I knew that it was just in my future and I was just waiting for everything to align.
On a holiday to the US, he met who he thought would be the love of his life, and a whirlwind romance followed. Within days, his new love, Liv, moved from Texas to be with Dan. She was saying that there's nothing in Texas for me anymore. All my heart and energy is in Australia, Dan said.
It was super spontaneous and then just bumped into her there, and it was kind of like two paths collide.
And I was like, great, that's awesome. Let's make this work.
She was saying that there's nothing in Texas for me anymore. Like I've closed the door on it. All my heart and energy is in Australia. Yeah, where we live, there's no roads. So.
A builder, Dan works at Berowra Waters. Jesus, I'm Australian and even that one's hard to say. Berowra Waters. Just beyond Sydney's northern outskirts, where the only mode of transport is boat.
And away we go.
He spends his days working on houses along the river. Things were falling into place. Dan and Liv were inseparable. She was helping on the job site. She was with another lovely client here on the river, and they were baking and stuff inside while we were working on their house. It just felt so right, and I was just so happy.
It just felt so right, and I was just so happy.
Then came the news Liv was pregnant. I was like, okay, cool. I might be a little bit later in life, but I'm catching up, Dan said.
Yeah, it was joyous and beautiful.
Oh my God, that's so sad. So his mindset was that he was at an age where he thought he was too old to have kids, or that he was getting close to an age where it might be very difficult to have kids. And now it's working for me, you know? It's all the ducks are in a row. In those blissful weeks, Dan and Liv began planning their life together, but cracks started to appear when Liv became homesick. She had a house in Austin, so she just wanted to get
Women just lie. They love to lie. They love to say all these things. And tell the truth, they might not even be lying. She probably did think she was done with Texas. She probably did think that she was in love. She probably did do all these things. But then it all went away. All these going out on whims and doing these things. It ends up just breaking other people's hearts and destroying other people's lives.
Get back there, Dan said. She felt like she needed her community again. She felt like she needed a support network.
Felt like she needed her community again. She felt like she needed her support network.
Then Liv delivered a hammer blow after heading home for a visit. She wasn't returning. Oh man, that is so harsh. So she's told him, I'm homesick, I'm going back home to visit my family. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm never ever coming back to see you again, and I'm pregnant with your child. Poor bloke. I was actually leaving the job site driving home, and you wouldn't believe it. Like the rain and the lightning just came down, and she's telling me the news that she, got back with her ex-partner.
Got back with her ex-partner, and I couldn't believe it.
Oh, what a bitch. That is so harsh. I couldn't believe it. I was in absolute shock. Like, you're pregnant with my daughter. How can you just go back to your ex-boyfriend? It was just heartbreaking. Oh man, I really feel for this guy.
And I'm just like, what is happening. Like, you're pregnant with my daughter.
Then another hammer blow. Liv told Dan she wanted to put their baby up for adoption. This is so harsh. It's like, I went back to my ex, now I don't want this other bloke's child. I'll just...
Why would the ex want that child? Like, oh my God. I have no words. Oh, I feel bad for the child. I feel bad for the man. I don't feel bad for the ex. He got what he deserved. Taking her back like that. Oh, poor child.
give it away to someone. And meanwhile, he's stuck over the other side of the world, contemplating that he may never ever get to meet his baby girl. She was starting to send me adoption options for people that she knew in Texas, and she was sending me the links to the Instagram page. And I was like, no, stop. Don't promise her to anyone. It feels so wrong. Poor bugger. This is against all my morals, and just stop.
And I was like, no, stop. Don't promise her to anyone. It feels so wrong. This is against all my morals.
So Dan began his quest to raise the baby on his own. I will do whatever it takes so that I can be a father, he said.
I will do whatever it takes so I can be the father. And I can bring her up in a loving environment here in Australia and provide for her.
After finding out he and Liv were bringing a little girl into the world, he decided to call her Anna.
The Sanskrit word for forever or eternity. And Anna just sounds nice.
Liv agreed to his plan. Oh, well, that's good at least. I'm actually really happy to hear that at least she's giving him the opportunity to have his daughter and be a part of her life. But I bet there's more to this. She was like, okay, I don't feel that I can be the mother, the parent in this, but I'm happy for you to. Oh, so gracious, love. Oh, and why do I just sense... Don't you sense it? Don't you guys feel it too? That it's not going to stop there. At some point down the track, she's going to get regret about giving her daughter away or something, and then she'll probably battle him in the courts to gain custody. And we all know how courts favour women, and this poor bloke's just going to have another hurdle to overcome so that he can raise his daughter.
Liv's agreed to his plan. Now for the complicated part.
Don't think I'm happy to show you guys these stories, and I'm happy these things are happening to these men. The reason I'm showing it to you guys, because this shit can happen to you. It's happened to me. I'm not saying this particular story, but similar stories. It's happened to a lot of you already. It's nice if we can maybe learn from others and maybe take some lessons in.
But in order to bring Anna home, Dan has to make a mercy dash to the US for her birth, then complete the paperwork and pay for it. The midwife can help with the birth certificate, and then we plan to drive from Austin to Houston, which is where the Australian embassy is, book an interview, have the paperwork ready, and send that off to Australia to get processed.
We plan to drive from Austin to Houston, which is where the Australian embassy is, book an interview, have the paperwork ready, and send that off to Australia to get processed.
Strapped for cash, Dan's community has rallied to make his dream a reality.
This is all going to take a lot of money. Do you have it? Do you have the money?
No, but there's been some incredible people donate.
There's been some incredible people donate, Dan said. People that I haven't even spoke to since leaving school are reaching out on Facebook. And I'm just like, my heart is exploding with the amount of love and support that I've received from people that I would have. I mean, I just didn't expect it.
To cope, Dan has reverted to meditation. Dan's thought about the finish line once he's found the money and beaten the bureaucracy, and baby Anna is in his arms.
I'm hoping and praying, and everyone's praying, that it will be, a happy ending.
That is such a sad story, and I really hope this guy gets over there and gets custody of his little girl and brings him back to Australia, where she can feel the love of a parent who actually wanted her. Hopefully they set up a GoFundMe for this guy or something, because I know there's probably a lot of people who would sympathise with him and make a donation. Yeah, so that's a very touching story. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check...
Whew, man. Got a little teary-eyed myself on that one. I feel for men. We are men, right? I am a man, right? Of course I feel for myself, and I feel for all of you guys that go through such similar harsh realities in life. Please like, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll get you guys next time. Ciao.